Welcome everyone. My name is Carla Vázquez Jones. I'm the Communications and Marketing Manager of CH Carolina Herrera for North America and alumni of Universidad Nueva. We are here celebrating the 3rd Digital Fashion Film Academy. Given COVID-19, unfortunately, many of the events, such as this one, have become digital. But at the same token, we have had the opportunity to meet in person in La Jolla, Southern California, with Fred Sweet, the founder of La Jolla International Fashion Film Festival, to discuss fashion film and festival.
Thank you so much for having me, Carla.
No, thank you for your time and for having this conversation. First of all, how are you doing? How has this, past 8 months been?
Well, I would say it's been challenging. I feel like I'm part of the group, though, and I'm in touch with a lot of filmmakers, a lot of creative people around the world. So I hear that they're all kind of just trying to get through it, plan for the future, stay as positive as possible.
And in regards of all the submissions that you received, that I can imagine there are more than 1,000, what does the jury usually go for, or is there an inclination for films that are more independently backed, in the sense of, as you were saying, the film director is the one that is putting that investment, or the ones that are backed by a fashion brand?
Yeah, I tell you, we really do not focus on the providence of the film. In other words, how or where it came to be. I view filmmakers all over the world have an equal opportunity to produce a fabulous film. So we do have a best supporting role for a fashion brand, and Prada has won that, and we've had some other brands win that, but that's brand focused. Everything else, we focus on the artistic merit of the film, and to some extent, I think the jury does focus on who made the film and that type of thing. I mean, that's human nature. You're never going to separate only the art from the artist. So to me, it's a level playing field, and that's how we want to keep it.
Good to know. Maybe I'll submit something for the next year. In regards to all the awardees, over the course of all these years, have you followed up with them? Have you continued, checking how their professional career has evolved, how it has impacted them of being awarded the La Jolla Fashion Film Festival, honoree of whatever category they have received?
Sure, that's a good question. I'm really happy that I've always considered La Jolla a collaborative, creative community worldwide. And many filmmakers have stuck with us over the years. Many filmmakers have been with us over 10 years. I know many of them personally. And so to have like an insight into their career growth has really been fabulous for me personally, because I see people submit for the first time, and then years go by and they're just producing these dazzling films, and they develop their own styles, and I can just take a look at a film and just boom, I can tell who made that film. And also the people that are participating, some of the cast, they move around, and La Jolla is known for collaboration, and we have many filmmakers that are collaborating with each other all over the world. Especially nowadays, collaborating is really one of the great things about the internet. So it's really been wonderful to see the La Jolla community develop, and everyone knows my personal philosophy is we should support each other. And I remember at the second festival, we had a dinner, and I said, look, it's better if we support each other, and we tell each other the good things we're doing. And I think over the years that has become part of the DNA of La Jolla, and I'm really happy about it.
tell us a little bit about what is the Jolla International Fashion Film Festival. How was it born? Why was it born? And what is the ultimate goal?
Thank you. See, it's our 12th year coming up, and it started, I would say, I'm in the agency business, the talent and model agency business. So I was always interested in the internet. And people don't realize there was a time before the internet. And I actually do know there was a time. And so what happened was I was interested in fashion on the internet when it first started. So people don't realize that one of the first fashion shows, the first fashion videos ever to put up was by Ralph Lauren. And when that happened, everyone was talking about it, that Ralph Lauren put a fashion show on the internet, and it was actually moving, and it was in New York, and it was stupendous and fabulous. So I was very interested in fashion, and what happened was I noticed more and more, this was about 13 years ago, I noticed that there was little fashion clips. Now, no one called them fashion films back then, because no one knew what to call them. So I said to the people at the agency, I said, you know something? I'm going to contact these directors, these filmmakers from all over the world, and I'm going to get their permission, and we're going to go up to La Jolla, and we're going to have a party for the agency, and I'm going to show the clips. Well, in a model agency, you don't really have too many secrets. So within a week, everyone wanted to come to this little agency party. So I said, you know, I think I'm going to turn it into a fashion film festival. And that's how it was born. And so then events kind of took us from there. I would say in the very, very beginning, it was we felt like pioneers putting it together. As the industry matured in the last 10 years, I would say I've refocused the festival on providing empowerment and support for filmmakers worldwide. And that's really La Jolla's mission, and that's what we try and do. Ultimately, at any event or any endeavor that you're trying to do is really based on the value of it. And so we realize that. So La Jolla's goal is to always increase our value to the filmmakers and to the participants coming. And however that's going to take place, whether it's through new digital technologies or through personal engagement with people, that's what we're looking at for the future.
Amazing. I was reading an article on Forbes, and there are currently about 50 fashion film festivals around the world, but in that article they were mentioning 5, and one of them being La Jolla International Fashion Festival. First of all, obviously, congratulations to being on the point of focus that everyone is looking at. What is the most proudest moment that you have had until now?
Well, I would say the most memorable moment really is kind of funny because it took place at the second film festival. And we had just moved into a beautiful 500-seat theater at the local art museum. And I didn't really know what to expect. So back then we were getting about 300 people coming to the festival. And at the end, the MC called me out from the backstage. So I came out onto the stage, and the lights were very bright, and I couldn't really see out onto the audience. And I heard this clapping and clapping and clapping, and I just said to myself, I go, what's everyone clapping for? Did I come out at the wrong? Is there someone else supposed to be out here? And all of a sudden, I refocused my eyes, and I was getting a standing ovation. And it really was one of the most fabulous times of my life. And I know it's a little egotistical and it's self-aggrandizing, I guess. But I could tell you, it's a feeling because it was a surprise and I didn't know it was going to happen. It just made it all that more impactful. And I hope everyone gets to have some surprise appreciation for one time in their life. It's a nice feeling.
No, absolutely. That's a fond memory of something that you've been working towards, you're building and growing, and already to have a stand-up ovation on your second year of the festival, that is amazing. So obviously it's that you're doing a good job, or even a great job. So I wanted to go a little bit back and say this, after these past 8 months, how wild it has been for everyone. How was the festival this year? How did it take place? How did it take place?
Right. We like many people when it first hit. I was telling the filmmakers, "Oh, this will be over in 3 weeks. No problem. Everything's cool. Yeah, it's over. By the end of March, it's done." And of course, obviously, it just got worse and worse and worse. And so when I finally realized it was not possible to have the event, the physical event, we pivoted, like most festivals, to an online. And I must say it was a learning experience. Overall, we had about 500 people attend worldwide. And it was very interesting for the reason that the actual award ceremony in our traditional event, it's about 2.5 hours. And I thought the online event would take 2.5 hours also. It took almost 6 full hours.
Wow.
And the people, my team that was working with me, they like dropping off. They were like, going to sleep on the floor, and it was like really an experience. But the interesting thing is, I liked it for one reason. I could engage with the filmmakers in a much longer and deeper way than I could at the actual physical event. When there's a physical event and there's a stage and there's 500 people in the audience, you have to stick to the schedule. I mean, that's why the Academy Awards, they start turning up the music. Someone's on there too long, they'll get a stick and grab them off. But there was none of that. So, and I like talking to the filmmakers and getting in depth about, what was their creative process, what was their thinking, their concepts, and they liked it also. A couple of people took us on a tour of their studio, just when they were getting the awards. It was really a fun, fulfilling time. So, and we had some technical issues. I mean, the thing is, no matter what technical setup you have, if it's a worldwide event, people are going to have different connections all over the world, and so that is impactful. But something no one really cared. When something would hang up or freeze or something, I would just get the people back, or my team would, and we would just start again, and no one really cared. So that was one good aspect.
So it wasn't pre-recorded; it was live.
Oh yes, this was live.
Live.
Yeah.
Okay, so obviously with any type of technical difficulties, everyone was there, but I think everyone was grateful to be able to still celebrate the festival, given this current kind of landscape that we're still going through and navigating. And for next year, what are you preparing? Are you already thinking of doing it digital? Are you hoping to return to the physical sphere? What are your thoughts?
Well, our thinking right at this moment is that we're going to do the award ceremony will be online worldwide. We are also going to do the next day. We're going to have our red carpet event and our press interviews and our content creation event. I've been to a lot of events in Hollywood. Many people say our red carpet is bigger than most Hollywood events. We really have a lot of experience in what works, and so the idea is the people coming will have the opportunity to be on the red carpet, and they'll also have the opportunity to get their press interviews, their content creation. We have a number of Instagram walls. So for the people that want to come and participate, they can. If it's not workable for whatever reason, because of the virus, then they can watch online and participate that way. If obviously, if the virus situation is still very impactful and we're not able to do the event, then we will just switch the whole thing online like we did this year. So right now we're just taking a wait and see. It's at the end of July, so hopefully there'll be a vaccine and enough people will take it, and maybe we'll start relaxing a little bit and make it all workable.
Hopefully, exactly, as you say, hopefully for next July, we have a much more stable situation.
Right.
We have a vaccine or any other type of medication, and we are able to, rejoice and gather, as ultimately we love human contact and more in fashion. Quick question about this year's awardees. Any favorite? Can you say anything special, anything different, anything unique that you have seen?
Well, as a festival producer, it's probably a good idea. I kind of comment in a general way on the films, because it's you want to spread the love equally to everyone, and so I would say the trend that I've seen in the past few years really, is that people and brands and creators, they want meaning in their films. And so I've noticed the films that really are, that were Best Picture, Best Director, and also some of the other top categories, they had a message on different topics. And it's basically a heal the world, heal society type of message, which obviously we completely support. And so, to me, I would say, you were talking about what direction in the future. To me, fashion films are going in the direction of more meaning. People, look, no one is going to compete with a major Hollywood studio as far as effects go. It's not possible. But the way that films can be made nowadays does not take a lot of money, but it does take creative investment, and it does take the ability to run a cast and crew and pick out a story that's going to have some meaning and impact. So if you put all that together, I think where we're going in the future is films that have meaning and have a social impact. And in addition, brands, of course, want that. But what I've noticed is filmmakers worldwide now are financing their own films. They're not waiting for a brand to commission them. They want to get their message out there, and they want to get their creative team known. And it's amazing what they're doing.
Amazing. I was going to ask, because ultimately, as you were saying, over the past decade, the fashion film as a tool for brands has also evolved and shifted with social media, with everyone now, even the directors that they're doing, they're putting their own pocket money to, fund their project. Where is the functionality? What is the goal of the fashion film ultimately? If everyone is, they're not having that kind of concise message of the brand working with the director, what is happening with the concept of the fashion film?
Right. I would say fashion film as a genre is evolving. And it's actually evolving beyond the brand containment or constraint. And that's what I've noticed in these past few years. So fashion film is different from a short film in that it features fashion in a significant way. That's our submission rules, is that it has to have a significant fashion element to it. Now that could be the styling, it could be the hair and makeup, it could be a brand, or it could just be the look and feel of the film. So there's really no limit to the fashion film as far as a creative genre. I think sky's the limit, and La Jolla, we're known for emphasizing story-based films, and that's what we're going to stick with. We want meaning, we want change, and that's our future.
Tuesday, scattered showers over 25 to 50% of the area. More likely during tomorrow morning and to the morning hours. Low tonight 76 to 80. They don't specify this time. High tomorrow 86 to 90. It's 81 on the beach. No, let's make that 84 on the beach. It's 81 at the airport. Winds are from the east at 9 miles per hour. 80% the relative humidity.
I think the future also is about really defining of oneself and what is like their goal. Do you see a trend or an existence that there is growing a specific type of film director only in fashion films, or do most of the film directors are also across the board doing short films, documentaries, or even large motion pictures?
Right. Now, this is a question that comes up a lot. To me, and I tell filmmakers this, at this point, I do not feel that there's a defined enough industry that a person can only be a fashion film director. Now, it could be their love, it could be their passion, but everyone obviously has to pay their bills. There's no real reason and there's no real constraint to be a fashion film maker as a separate profession. Fashion films come from all types of creative people around the world. The winner of this year was a young woman in Singapore of Best Picture, and she by trade is an architect. And it really showed through her film.
Today is such a rare occasion. My little girl is even more excited than I was. Moment, we are lost in an orchestra of groaning metal and creaking containers.
But her film was dazzling. It was an experience. It grabbed people from the moment they saw it, and it carried them straight through. It had mystery, it had timeliness. You couldn't quite tell if it was real or not real, and she mixed in documentary elements. So, and she's an architect, and she came through with this dazzling film. So the idea is, if you have the idea, if you have the concept for a fabulous fashion film, definitely go ahead and make it. Maybe in the future it could evolve into a specific genre. Now, some filmmakers do more fashion films than others, obviously. But at this point, it's a good idea to diversify your revenue, your income base, and also your skill set.
Any advice to future filmmakers?
Yeah, thank you. I definitely have advice to future fashion filmmakers, and I tell this to everyone, and that is the success of your film is really in the conceptualization of it. If you are relying upon production values, maybe what we would call a keyboard jockey, some dazzling effects, it's not going to be enough. And to have it compete effectively with the other fashion films, we estimate there's probably 50 to 100 fashion films being made a day worldwide. Now, not all of them, see the light of day. Some of them have like 10 views on YouTube. But at any rate, that is the amount of fashion films being made. So to cut through that, it's the initial concept of your film. What is it trying to say? Does it have a storyline? What is the cast? What is the purpose of the film? If those things excite you, you have a good shot of breaking through.
Amazing. Well, there you have it. The advice for the future fashion film directors and filmmakers. One last question. How do you envision, or let's fast forward 10 years. Where do you see the International Fashion Film Festival of La Jolla?
Well, I mean, that's 10 years is kind of a long way out. But I would say our goal and my goal is to constantly add real value to what we're doing for the filmmakers. Everything else really doesn't interest me. As you know, there's hundreds of film festivals, even in the United States. It's probably thousands worldwide. So we don't need another film festival. Technology trends are changing. People's attitudes are changing. What they're watching, how long they're watching it, all of that is changing. We have to take that and make it into something that will be on trend to help filmmakers increase their market value and increase their worth to brands and themselves in their own creative endeavors. So however that is going to take place, we want to be there for the filmmakers. Nothing is going to take the place of having real value for the filmmakers, and that's where we want to be.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Fred. Thank you for your experience, for your stories, and for your insight.
My pleasure, and thank you for having me.
I leave my famous father's footsteps. I leave my famous father's footsteps for the cocktail lover. I can do what I want. Times like quicksand, life was pretty fast. Shooting stars.